If you have ever looked at your paycheck and thought to yourself, there is nothing left to save. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are living inside a system that makes it feel impossible to get ahead. And if you are tired of hearing advice that starts with just invest more when you are already stretching every dollar, then take a breath. Because this is not going to be a guilt trip. This is going to be a reframe. A practical one. And it starts with a truth most people miss. Wealth is a net worth level, not an income level. You can have a big income and no wealth. And you can build real wealth on a modest income. Today, I want to show you why your modest paycheck can be a secret weapon. First, let's talk about the middle class trap and what's really keeping you stuck. A lot of people think the goal is to earn more. And yes, earning more can help. But earning more does not automatically create wealth. Because for many people, a bigger paycheck simply becomes a bigger lifestyle. They spend the raise before they even receive it. They upgrade the apartment. They upgrade the car. They upgrade the groceries. They upgrade the vacations. And somehow, they still feel broke. That cycle has a name. It is the middle class trap. Not because being middle class is bad, but because it often means you are trained to look successful, without building the foundation that makes you free. So let me give you a contrast. Two people. The first person looks rich. They make a high income. But they also have high payments, high debt, and very little margin. The second person does not look rich. They make a modest income. But they own assets. They keep expenses low. And they build margin. The first person is rich in income. The second person is wealthy in net worth. And the reason your modest paycheck can be an advantage is this. When you don't have endless money, you are forced to learn skills that high earners sometimes avoid. Skills like tracking, planning, negotiating, saying no, delaying gratification, and choosing value over image. Those are not poor people's skills. Those are wealth-building skills. Next, let's talk about the physiology of lifestyle creep and why it happens even to smart people. Because this is not just math. It is human behavior. You get a little more money. And your brain starts to whisper, I deserve this. And sometimes you do. You deserve nice things. You deserve comfort. You deserve ease. But here is the problem. If every increase in income becomes an increase in spending, then nothing changes. You stay in the same position, just surrounded by more expensive stuff. This is what I call the physiology of money. Money is not just numbers. It is emotion, identity, stress relief, reward, status, and sometimes, a painkiller. So when people earn more, they often feel entitled to spend more, because spending becomes a way to prove life is getting better. But wealth is not proven by what you buy. Wealth is proven by what you keep. Now let's make this even more practical. There is a bias almost all humans have. It is called present bias. Here is a simple way to understand it. Your brain believes now is more real than later. The shirt you can buy today feels more real. The streaming subscription feels real. The upgraded phone feels real. But future you feels like a stranger. And when you are around other people, present bias gets louder. Because you are not just buying objects. You are buying a belonging. Keeping up with the Joneses is rarely about jealousy. It is about safety. Your brain says, if I look like I fit in, I will be okay. But here is the shift. Your future freedom is more important than today's performance. And this is where the biggest truth of personal finance shows up. Success is 80% behavior and just 20% knowledge. You don't need to be a financial genius. You need a system that protects you from your own impulses. A system that makes the right choice easier than the wrong one. Now let's get practical. I want to show you how to tame the big three expenses and where margin is actually created. If you feel like you don't earn enough to get ahead, don't start by trying to cut every tiny thing. Start with the big three: housing, transportation, and food. Because these three categories can quietly decide your entire future. Let's start with housing. Housing is usually the single largest expense. And it is also the category where a small change can create a huge difference. I know moving is not always possible. And I know rent is brutal in many places. So I am not going to tell you to just relocate. Instead, I want you to think in three practical moves: negotiate, optimize, and share. First, negotiate. Not with emotion, but with facts. When your lease is up, ask one calm question: what is the best rate you can offer if I renew for 12 months? Then get specific. Mention that you pay on time. Mention that you're low maintenance. And if nearby units are listed for less, calmly point that out. You are not asking for charity. You are asking for a business decision. Second, optimize what you already pay for. Because housing cost is not just rent. You also pay for utilities, internet, phone plans, and fees. Call your providers and ask for the retention deal. Most companies have one. And if you save $50 per month, that is $600 per year you can turn into investments. Third, share strategically, if it fits your life. That could mean getting a roommate, doing a house hack, downsizing to a smaller space, or even a temporary reset for 1 year. Not because you are going backward, but because you are buying time, buying margin, and buying options. And margin is the beginning of wealth. Even a $100 reduction per month is $1,200 per year. And if you invest $1,200 per year consistently, you are no longer stuck. You are building an asset pipeline. Now transportation. Transportation is not just a car payment. It includes gas, insurance, maintenance, repairs, registration, and depreciation. Here's the mindset shift. Your car is not just a vehicle. It is a monthly subscription you did not mean to sign up for. A simple way to estimate the real cost of driving is the cost per mile. A rough estimate is about 60 to 70 cents per mile, once you include gas, maintenance, and wear and tear. So a 20-mile round trip is roughly $10. A 100-mile week is around $50. That's about $200 per month. I am not going to tell you to never drive. For many people, driving is necessary. Instead, I want you to look for 3 options: reduce, replace, or renegotiate. First, reduce. Combine errands into one trip. Avoid small convenience drives. And plan your route so you stop paying extra miles. Second, replace when you can. 1 or 2 trips per week can become walking, biking, or public transit trips, if that is realistic where you live. Even 1 fewer drive per week matters. Because you are not just saving gas. You are saving future repairs. Third, renegotiate the fixed costs. Shop your insurance. Ask about higher deductibles if you have an emergency fund. Remove coverage you don't need on an older car, if it makes sense. And avoid turning a car upgrade into a permanent lifestyle upgrade. The goal is not a perfect system. The goal is margin. Because margin turns into investing. And investing turns into assets. The third one is food. Food is one of the easiest categories to overspend in. Not because people are careless, but because food decisions happen when you are tired, busy, or stressed. So the goal is not extreme budgeting. The goal is to remove decision pressure. Here's the simple framework: plan your meals, repeat what works, and protect your defaults. First, plan. Pick 3 to 5 meals you can repeat, write them down, buy the ingredients once, and cook with leftovers on purpose. This stops the most expensive question in personal finance: what are we doing for dinner tonight? Second, repeat. You don't need a new menu every week. You need a reliable menu that fits your life. When meals are predictable, spending becomes predictable. Third, protect your defaults. Because the real budget killers are usually not the main meals. They are drinks, snacks, convenience items, and small treats that happen 5 times per week. If you want a clean example, here is one. If a household spends $1,000 per month on groceries, reducing that to around $700 creates $300 per month. That is $3,600 per year. But even if your numbers are smaller, the pattern is the same. Saving just $200 per month on food is $2,400 per year. That is real investing money. And the secret is not perfection. It is a plan you can repeat when life gets busy. Here's a piece of math that can change how you see daily habits. Let's use one example. A cigarette habit. $8 per pack. If that is 1 pack per day, that is about $240 per month. I am not here to judge anyone. Habits are complicated. Stress is real. And quitting is hard. But I want you to see the opportunity cost. If that same $240 per month were invested in the stock market, over a 35 to 40-year career at average market returns, it could grow to around $1 million. This isn't because you're lucky. It's because of time, because of compounding, and because small numbers repeated for decades become giant numbers. So here is the question. Ask yourself, is any daily habit worth $1 million? And maybe cigarettes are not your habit. Maybe it is delivery food. Maybe it is daily energy drinks. Maybe it is subscription stacking. Maybe it is convenience spending when you are tired. You don't have to eliminate joy. But you do want to make sure you are not trading your future freedom for a short-term dopamine hit you barely remember tomorrow. Now I want to teach you about strategic impatience and long-term patience, and how to push your income up while compounding works in the background. This is where a lot of people get stuck. They think investing only works if you have a lot of money. But investing works because you start, you keep going, and you give it time. And this is where the 1% mindset comes in. Be impatient about improving your circumstances, your income, and your skills. But be patient about your investment results. That means you hustle for progress in real life. You apply for a better job, train for the certification, ask for the raise, build the side income, negotiate bills, and cut waste. That is strategic impatience. But when it comes to investing, here's what you do. You stop checking it every day. You stop panicking during headlines. You stop trying to time the market. You let compounding do its job. And now, a warning that matters. The biggest risk is not losing money in the market. The biggest risk is not investing at all. Because inflation does not sleep. It quietly makes cash worth less over time. So if you never invest, you are not playing it safe. You are slowly losing purchasing power. That is why not investing quietly works against you over time. I know those are harsh words. But sometimes the truth has to be sharp, so you finally protect yourself. And here is the encouraging part. You don't need perfect timing. You need consistency. Even $50 per month matters. Even $100 per month matters. Because you are not just investing money. You are investing in your identity. You are becoming the kind of person who owns assets. No matter what your paycheck says today. Finally, let's talk about the identity shift that makes all of this stick, becoming an asset owner. Here's the final distinction. There are consumers, and there are creators. A consumer buys things that lose value over time. A creator builds things that produce value. You don't have to start a business to be a creator. You can become a creator simply by becoming an asset owner. You stop buying status. And you start buying stability. You stop upgrading your lifestyle first. And you start upgrading your net worth first. You make one simple rule. If it loses value, I think twice. If it grows value, I lean in. That can mean an emergency fund, a retirement account, a basic index fund, or learning a skill that increases your earning power. That means making small moves, repeated calmly over time. If this way of thinking about money feels different from what you usually hear, that's exactly what this channel is about. Calm, practical guidance. No guilt. No hype. Just systems that quietly build real financial stability. So if you want more of this, subscribe to Simple Money Systems. And if you are listening to this thinking, but I don't earn enough, I want you to hear me clearly. Your modest paycheck is not a life sentence. It can be a training ground. Because if you can build margin on a modest income, you will be unstoppable when your income rises. That is the low-income advantage. You learn discipline before you have excess. You learn strategy before you have comfort. You learn the truth before the world distracts you. Wealth is a net worth level, not an income level. And it's built one decision, one habit, one month at a time.